It's a record year for Chinese foreign trade. Official data showed it was up $1.4 trillion on the year before and exceeded $6 trillion for the first time. China posted steady growth with its 5 largest trading partners: ASEAN, the European Union, the United States, Japan, and the Republic of Korea, with the highest growth rate exceeding 20%. Meantime, the country's trade with the economies involved in the Belt and Road Initiative reported a higher than average increase of over 23%. China also posted a record trade surplus last year as exports continued to outperform expectations during the global pandemic. At about $676 billion in 2021, it was the highest since records began in 1950. It was $524 billion in 2020. Now let's see how the global media have responded to China's 2021 trade numbers. Reuters called it, quote, an impressive recovery from the pandemic, but also felt that the momentum is flagging. The Wall Street Journal said that China remains an investment destination as its technology startups attract a record amount of venture funding last year. The Financial Times said the numbers highlighted China's dominance of global trade during the pandemic and said that China's manufacturing industry has benefited from a shift from services to goods consumption. Let's put things into perspective. We're now joined via Skype by Professor Liu Zhiqin, a senior research fellow at the Chongyang Institute for Financial Studies at the Renmin University of China. Good to see you there as always, Professor. So as we just heard, China's foreign trade in 2021 exceeded $6 trillion for the first time in history, despite the COVID-19 pandemic. What does that number say about China's economy to you, and from a broader perspective, the world economy?
I should say frankly that I'm deeply impressed and shocked by such a wonderful number, because $6 trillion is not a small number. It's a big achievement for China. So we know that the last year is so special, not only for China, but also for the global market. We are fighting against the pandemic outbreak, but China still has achieved a so good result in the economic field. So this figure and numbers tell us many stories, but the 2 points must be emphasized. The first is that China's economy and the global economy are on their way to recovery, especially China's momentum for further development is still remain very high and stable, very inclusiveness. So in this way that China's economic development has showed a greater role like a best engine to stimulate and promote the global economic development. And the other side is we can see that the only cooperation and also the coordination is the best way to stimulate the economic development, not only in China as well as the global market. So China has always adopted the right policy that to have close cooperation and coordination with all other countries. So in this way, we can overcome all the difficulties that caused by the pandemic outbreak. So in this way, the China's supply chain has also made a great contribution to the whole world and global economic recovery. So by doing so, that China and the global market has been deeply emerged. That means we have again deeply coupled, not decoupled. So by doing so, that the global economy will also benefit from the China's economic faster development.
Now, China posted a record trade surplus in December and in 2021 as exports outperformed expectations during the global pandemic. But looking ahead, in the long run, how will the uncertainties caused by COVID-19, such as the Omicron variant and other possible variants, affect China's foreign trade?
Yeah, that's a good question, because as we know that from the long run that we should not neglect or should not look down upon the influence of the COVID-19 outbreak, because we still don't know that what time when this coronavirus could be controlled totally. So by doing so, that all these effects should be emphasized and paid great attention. As we know that China has always doing its best that to control this outbreak of virus, especially when the society and the companies that they are always under the tough management. By doing so, that China do this in two ways. One is to control the COVID-19. The second is we always try the best to stimulate, to promote business activities. That is make the make the mobility of the business, make all the goods and connected with the global market. So we can see at the moment all this circulation, domestic market and the international market are very favorable to the whole world, not only for China. So we have to pay great attention to scientifically to deal with the COVID-19 outbreak, and otherwise we should do our best to stimulate, to promote all the economic development, to keep a high quality, high speed growth.
Professor, thank you for taking the time talking to us. Pleasure to see you. Professor Zhiqin joining us live there. Now in Malaysia, the China construction community